Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier. So in our previous video we have discussed about the concept of DynamoDB TTL, using which basically after a certain Unix timestamp we can expire or delete any row or item from DynamoDB table, right? If you want to know the detailed explanation about DynamoDB TTL, you can check the link given in the description box, okay? So let us try to understand today in this video that how different companies use the concept of TTL in DynamoDB in designing the complex system. Okay, and here one such system design I am going to explain from scratch, and that is basically OTP based authentication, right? So you might have already used OTP based authentication while logging in many apps or websites, right? So what generally happens, we provide our user ID and password, and then after that in a registered email address or mobile number, one-time password appear. That is valid only for certain amount of time, maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes like that. Okay, and then we have to take that particular OTP and we have to enter that in our app or website, and then only we will able to log in. This is nothing but termed as multi-factor authentication, because not only we are basically believing only on password, but rather one more layer of security we are providing using one-time password. Okay, right? Now obviously you can understand one thing, that in OTP design system DynamoDB TTL can help us little bit, because OTP is valid only a certain amount of time. After that it is no longer valid, and same concept is basically implemented using DynamoDB TTL. Time to leave basically configure up to this much time the row or the item will be valid. After that the item will expire and it will be automatically deleted by DynamoDB in the backend, right? So let's see how we can use the feature of DynamoDB TTL in OTP system design. Okay, I'm not going to design the front end, but let's consider we are having a front end where user have entered user ID and password, and after that basically the OTP system application will start. So how it will work? Maybe using mail ID we are trying to send the OTP. We can send the OTP using SMS also. So in this particular demo we are going to use mail ID to send the OTP for the user. Okay, so what will happen, there will be an API in the back end which will take the mail ID from the front end server. Okay, user's mail ID it will take, and it will basically call one API with the resource path send underscore OTP. Okay, so whenever this particular resource path our system will hit, in the back end one lambda will be triggered. Okay, what the lambda will do, the lambda will generate an OTP. There are several algorithms to generate OTP. As of now in this video I am keeping it very simple. Just I will generate a random 6-digit number. Okay, that will be treated as OTP. Now what will happen, we already got mail ID from the front end using API. Now we generated our OTP, and what we will do, we will add one more extra parameter called expiration time. Okay, so when OTP is generated, from then the OTP will be valid, suppose only for 2 minutes or 120 seconds. So expiration time will be current Unix timestamp, okay, or epoch timestamp plus 120. Like that we will be configuring our expiration time, and that JSON which is having email ID, OTP and expiration time we will enter in our DynamoDB table. Okay, now in DynamoDB our email ID will be primary key and expiration time will be our short key. Okay, so it might happen that one user is clicking multiple times for OTP generation. That is also possible, right? So for the same user different rows will be there which will contain the OTP and different expiration time. Always in this kind of scenario, when the same user is having multiple valid OTP, user need to enter the latest valid OTP. Okay, in the last request whatever he has made, in that whatever OTP he or she has received, based on that only authentication will happen. That also we need to take care of. Okay, so here as you understand that email ID will be primary key, expiration time will be short key, and OTP will be a simple value. Okay, now here this lambda will just enter the data in the DynamoDB table. Okay, after that using DynamoDB stream another lambda will be triggered. Okay, so here this lambda is not taking the responsibility of sending the OTP. It is just generating the OTP and putting in DynamoDB table. Another lambda using DynamoDB stream will be triggered, and using simple email service it will send that particular OTP to the email address. Okay, right? I hope up to this it is very simple. and now the user will get that particular OTP from the email. Now what the user will do, it will call basically verify OTP, the same API but with a different resource path, and the resource path name is verify OTP. Okay, what the verify OTP API will do in the backend, it will trigger another lambda having name verify OTP function. And what this lambda will do, it will receive the email ID and OTP using the verify OTP request. Here, along with this particular API, we need to pass this email ID and OTP, whatever the user has received in the email address. Now, what this particular lambda will do, for that email ID, what is the latest generated OTP? Okay, like I have told you, right, that it is possible that there are multiple valid OTPs, okay, for that particular user at that point of time, but the verification will happen with respect to the latest generated or last generated OTP. Okay, so what the lambda will do, it will extract from the DynamoDB the latest or last generated OTP, and then it will check whether the last generated OTP and the OTP which user shared, they are matching or not. And also it will check that whether the OTP is expired or not. If the last generated OTP is not expired, and if the last generated OTP is equal to the OTP what user shared, then we will understand that the user is a proper genuine user and it will be authenticating. Okay, and then you can do further activities, right? And what is the functionality of TTL here? The TTL is playing the major role in the decision whether OTP is expired or not. Okay, whenever we will make some entry in the expiration time along with the current epoch timestamp or Unix timestamp, we will add 122nd and we will put that in the expiration time field in the DynamoDB. Okay, and on the expiration time only we will be configuring TTL, time to live. So that way what will happen, after 2 minutes automatically DynamoDB will take care of deletion of the expired OTPs. Okay, that DynamoDB will take care in the backend, right? Now this complete process of validating whether OTP is expired or not is happening due to the expiration time field. Otherwise it was not possible for us, right? We need to follow some manual approach. So that's the beauty of application of DynamoDB TTL here. I hope you understood. Now, without any further delay, let's build this particular architecture which will give us more better feeling out of it. Okay. So here what we will do first, here I have written some points in the notepad. So first we will generate a DynamoDB table. So the table name is OTP holder. Okay. So here what I will do, I will go to AWS management console and I will go to DynamoDB, and here I will be creating a table OTP holder. Okay. OTP holder is the table name. Primary key is email ID, as I told you, and it is string only, and the short key will be expiration time. Okay, so it might happen that for one particular user or for one particular email ID there are multiple OTPs. Now that OTP you need to take which is having highest expiration time. That's why short key we are choosing as expiration time. And as you know, whenever we use TTL field, that should be number data type, so we are keeping this as number only. Okay, right? And then here what we will do, we will create the table. So here table is getting created and here it is active. Fine. Now here is the OTP generator code. So OTP generator code means nothing but, if you observe our architecture, this particular lambda function I am talking, okay, which will be triggered to generate the OTP. Okay. So what the code looks like, if you see here, import JSON, import Boto3, import time, import random, randint we are doing, because randint is required to generate a 6-digit random OTP. Okay. Now here what we are doing, we are creating a DynamoDB client or resource. Okay. Why? Because the responsibility of lambda is not only generating OTP but making an insert in the DynamoDB table, and that way DynamoDB stream will trigger the next lambda which will send the OTP, right? So here we are creating the resource for the table OTP holder, and default TTL, time to live, we are configuring as 122nd. That is, OTP will be valid only for 2 minutes. And then here we are taking the email ID from where, in the API which will trigger this particular lambda. There only we are expecting in the query string parameter email address of the user will be there. So we are taking the email ID from the query string, we are generating the OTP, and we are making an entry with email ID, OTP and expiration time. If you observe the OTP expiration time, it is current epoch timestamp or Unix time. Along with that, we are adding 2 more minutes. Okay, like here I have told you, right, that one OTP is valid for 2 minutes. If suppose you want to make a OTP valid for 5 minutes, so 5 multiplied by 60 is 300. So default TTL you can configure 300. That way the OTP will be valid for 300 seconds. Okay, after generation. So like that you can change as per your requirement. Okay. Now here we are using put item API to put the data in our DynamoDB table, and here we are returning a verification code is sent to the email address you provided. Okay, actually this lambda is not taking the responsibility of sending the verification code, but the next lambda will automatically send based on DynamoDB stream. Okay, so we will see that. So what I will do, I will copy this particular code of OTP generator and I will put that in my lambda function. Create function OTP generation YT demo 04. Some name I have given and Python 3.9 I am choosing, and here what I will do, I will create the function. Okay. So here I can delete the code and I can paste this code. I will deploy this one. So what are the important properties we need to provide here? Like if you observe DynamoDB, it is connecting and inserting the data. So DynamoDB access we need to provide to this lambda. Okay. So I will go to configuration. I will go to general configuration, and first I will configure the timeout as 30 seconds for the lambda, and then here I will go to permission and I will add DynamoDB access to this particular lambda. Okay. Amazon DynamoDB full access I will attach, right? So up to this it is pretty simple. Now I will go back to code, and here you see that OTP holder is the table name we have provided, and here we have generated the table also with the name OTP holder. So that is fine. So here this particular lambda is done, this particular DynamoDB is done. This lambda will make an entry with email ID, OTP and expiration time. Okay, that is also fine. Now for this particular DynamoDB we need to configure TTL and DynamoDB stream. Okay, so we'll configure that. So here I will go to DynamoDB table, and here I will click on enable TTL. So what will happen, that as soon as one OTP will be expired after 2 minutes, automatically DynamoDB has to delete that because that is no longer required for us. Okay, now the TTL has to be based on obviously expiration time. So I will take that particular field, and here in the TTL attribute I will put that. Okay, and here I will enable the TTL, as simple as that. Okay, simple. And now here I will go to DynamoDB stream, and here in the DynamoDB stream currently it is disabled. I will enable that one. Okay, maybe new and old both images I want to send, that is if some update happens both images will be sent. So I will enable the stream. Till now we have not configured the lambda for the DynamoDB table, we will do that. Okay, so here if you see that this is the lambda function which will be triggered based on DynamoDB stream. It will send the mail with OTP to the user. Okay, so here if you see, here we are generating the client for simple email service, and here if some data is inserted in DynamoDB, then only we need to trigger this lambda. But as per DynamoDB stream configuration, it will trigger always because we have configured for both new and old images. Okay, suppose due to DynamoDB TTL, if some element is getting removed from DynamoDB, then also this lambda will be triggered automatically. But we no need to send mail when some element deleted. Only we need to send email if some element is inserted in our DynamoDB table, right? So here we are configuring like that way. In the lambda handler, we are saying if it is insert type, then here we are taking the mail ID from the DynamoDB stream, and here we are taking the OTP also which is generated, and a body we are generating. Use this code to verify your login at sample website this and this. Here we, in the body part itself, we are putting our OTP. Okay, and in the message here in the subject we are putting your OTP valid for only 2 minutes, and here we are sending to the destination mail address, to the user's mail address, using which mail ID we will send. The source mail ID is basically this particular one. Okay, and for my this account the SES or simple email service is in production environment. So to send mail, we no need to verify destination mail address, only source mail address verification is sufficient. So we have already validated this particular source mail address, so we no need to verify other mail IDs. Okay, I can use any other mail ID to send the mail, right, or the OTP. So this is our send OTP lambda function. Okay, so what I will do, I will go to my lambda function, and here I will copy the same name and I will create a function, and here the name I will be providing OTP sender YT demo. Okay, Python 3.9 I am choosing. I will create the function. Okay, and here I will take this particular code to send OTP. So here I will delete this particular code and paste this one, and here I will deploy. Okay, in the configuration section I will go to the execution role for this particular lambda, and here I will provide simple email service access, because this particular lambda need to send the email for OTP verification to the user, right? So SES access is required. So I will add the permission, attach policy, and here I will search for SES. Okay, Amazon SES full access. So we'll attach the policy. Okay, and here DynamoDB also will be providing DynamoDB full access. Okay, DynamoDB full access also provided, and in general configuration I will increase the timeout to 30 seconds. Okay, right. Now here what I will do, this particular lambda has to be triggered based on DynamoDB stream. So here I will go to my DynamoDB, and here DynamoDB stream, we need to create the trigger. Okay, so the lambda function I will be choosing, this is basically this one, OTP send YT demo 04. I will search here. This is the one, batch size 1 as of now I am keeping. That is, as soon as one element will be inserted, updated, deleted, the DynamoDB stream will trigger lambda. That is fine, because this is just for POC. So here we are creating the trigger. Okay, so here trigger is enabled. Now if I refresh this particular lambda page, here you will see that here one trigger is added from DynamoDB stream. If I click on that, here you will see the DynamoDB OTP holder. From that table the trigger is added. Okay, perfectly fine. Now here if I go back to my architecture, here SES is there. In SES, let me show you. In the simple email service I will go. Here if you see, only the sender mail address is verified. No need to verify any destination mail address, because this particular AWS account SES is already in production. Okay, if your account is in sandbox environment, then both the sender mail address and destination mail address both has to be verified, otherwise it will not work, right? So that is fine. So up to this particular stage it is fine. Now we need to create the code for verify OTP. Okay, so this is our verify OTP function. What we are doing here, the approach is very simple. User will be sending, if you observe this architecture, user will be sending email ID and OTP to be verified. Okay, what the lambda will do, based on that email ID, the lambda will query the DynamoDB table. Okay, it will take the data and it will validate whether the last generated OTP is matching with the OTP what user sent or not. If they are matching, the user will be validated. Okay, so that's what the architecture and the code is. That is import JSON, import go-to-3, import time, and here we are creating the client for DynamoDB. Here we are taking the email ID and OTP from the user. Now here we are querying our DynamoDB table based on the email ID what user sent. Suppose for that particular email ID what user sent, there is no such data available. That means no OTP itself is generated for that particular mail ID. We are returning no OTP was generated such way. Okay, else what we are doing, we are taking the latest stored OTP value. Now as I have told you that for one particular user multiple valid OTPs are there, right? How we are taking the latest stored OTP? If you observe this client.query, when we are doing here, we are keeping scan index forward false. That means in the sort key descending order it will send. So email ID is primary key. So for that primary key there can be multiple rows. Okay, and based on that we are considering sort key. to arrange that particular data in descending order, and we are taking limit 1 after sorting in descending order. That means that particular record only I'll be getting which is generated latest, for which OTP is latest, right? So that one we are taking, and after extracting the latest stored OTP value, we are checking whether for that particular row the expiration time is less than current time or not. If the expiration time is less than current time, that means OTP is no longer valid. So we are returning time over. And if that is not the case, we are checking whether the OTP what user shared and whether the latest OTP what we are getting from DynamoDB both are same or not. If both are same, that means verified. If both are not same, that means wrong OTP. As simple as that. Okay. So I will copy this particular code, and here I will go to verify OTP, and here I will go to lambda function, and here I will create a lambda function called verification. Okay, YT04, and then here I will choose Python environment 3.9, and here I will create the function. So here our lambda function is available. I will just paste this particular code, and here I will deploy. Okay. So it is deployed. I will go to configuration section. In the general configuration, I will increase the timeout to 30 seconds and save this one. And in the permission section, this particular lambda will query the DynamoDB, right? So DynamoDB access we need to provide. Okay. So here DynamoDB full access we are providing, and here we will attach, okay, the policy, right? So more or less our this particular architecture, if you observe, it is done. Just we need to create the API now. So here we will create the API. I will open AWS Management Console in a new tab, and here I will go to API Gateway. I'll create an HTTP API. API name OTP YT demo04. Okay, as of now I am not attaching any integration. Later I will add. Next, so here what I will do, I will create a stage called development, and here for default one I will disable auto deploy. For development environment I will enable auto deploy, and then here I will create this one. Okay, right? And now here this is basically our API. I will go to routes, and here I need to create some route. So get method we will be using. So first route is send OTP. Okay, this particular resource path it will hit when we need to generate OTP, right? So here I will paste that send OTP. I will create that. Now we need to attach the integration. So what will happen, as soon as send OTP API will be hitting with mail ID, this generate OTP function lambda has to be triggered. Okay, so that is basically this particular one, OTP generation. So here I will attach the integration, create an integration lambda function, and here I will choose my OTP generator lambda. Okay, right? And here I will create this one. So here it is created. If I go to my lambda function for OTP generation, and if I refresh this particular page, here you will see in the function overview one API gateway is added. Okay, now here what we need to do, we need to go to routes. We need to create one more route for verify OTP. Okay, I will copy this one, and here get method I will call verify OTP. Okay, and for this also we need to attach an integration lambda function, and for this particular verify OTP, this particular verification lambda will be triggered. Okay, so I'll paste that one. So here it is done, and now here I will create this one, right? So for both of them lambda is created. So for this particular lambda, if I just refresh, here you will see the API gateway is added. Okay, now it is time to test. So here what I will do, I will go to API. I will copy this particular main API. I will go to Postman. I'll paste this particular one, and in the get method I need to put the resource path. So for sending or requesting API, this is the resource path, that is send OTP. Okay, so send OTP I will be putting, and some key value pair also need to pass, right? If you observe our code, the OTP generator lambda expect the email address as one key. Okay, anything else it is expecting? No, it is just expecting email address. Okay, to which email address it will send the generated OTP. That one we need to provide. So for that one, I have generated a dummy mail address. If you see here, this one I'll be using for sending the OTP. Okay, and here in the value part I'll paste that, and here I'll click on send. So let's see. Here we are getting the outcome. A verification code is sent to the email address you provided. Okay. So here if I go to DynamoDB and if I go to overview, explore table items, if I do, here you will see that this is the entry what it made, expiration time and OTP. So this OTP now we should get in mail also. So if I go to this mail, here you will see your OTP it is showing. Use this code to verify your login at sample website. So this OTP I can use for validation. Okay. So that one will do. I will open a new Postman page. I will copy the existing API. Just here, instead of send OTP, here the path will be verify OTP. Right. So let's see that. So here I will go to the API and the resource path is verify OTP. So verify OTP is provided. The verify OTP is expecting two query string. What are those? Let's see. So one is basically email address. Okay, and apart from that, one is OTP. Okay, so the email address I'll be using the older email address only, which the user got the OTP. And suppose user is using this particular OTP for validation, here I will make a send request. So see, here it is showing verified. Why it is showing verified? Because the user has given the proper OTP which is sent to this email address, right? So now if you see, this particular OTP was generated, and just if you wait for 2 more minutes and then if you check again with the same OTP, it will show that the OTP is expired. Okay, so let's see. So still it is verified. So that also you can understand when the OTP will no longer valid. Basically when expiration time will be less than our current Unix epoch timestamp. Okay, then and there our OTP will no longer valid. Okay, so we can wait little bit. See here it is showing time over. That means for this particular OTP when it was generated, 2 minutes is over, right? Now let's see another case. Suppose what we will do, we will generate multiple OTPs. Okay, just we will keep on clicking this particular request. So this in this email address multiple times OTP will be coming. Okay, so all those OTPs will be valid because for all of them the expiration will not happen. Now we will check with some OTP which is not the latest one, and we will see whether it is validating or not. Ideally it should validate only with the latest generated OTP. Okay, so that check also we can do. So what I will do, I will go to inbox, and here I can delete this particular existing one. So even DynamoDB also I can clear, or let it be not a problem. So what I will do, I will call it. Okay, a verification code is sent to the email address you provided. Okay, so if you see here, we got the mail and use this particular code to verify your login. That is fine. One time OTP is generated. Obviously 2 minutes is not yet over. So what I will do, I will make one more time send. So another mail we should be getting. See here, earlier we got one mail, now we got another mail. Okay, so this above mail was generated first, but both the OTPs are valid. Now this time, if the user is using old OTP, then it should not validate. Okay, it should throw invalid OTP. Let's see. So for the same mail address, I will put valid OTP, but it is not the latest one. Okay, I'll click send. See, it is throwing long OTP. Okay, but suppose I am using the latest generated OTP. Okay, if I send, see, it is throwing verified. Okay, so that's the case. That's what happened in real time also, right? Suppose we are generating OTP for multiple time and all the OTPs are valid, then only verification should happen based on the latest generated OTP, not the older valid OTPs. Okay, right? And eventually when 2 minutes will be over, for this OTP also, it will throw the exception that time is over. And automatically from the DynamoDB, whatever OTPs are not valid or whatever OTPs are expired, those will be deleted. That's what the beauty of DynamoDB TTL, what we have configured, right? So in this particular architecture, we have seen implementation of DynamoDB TTL as well as DynamoDB Stream. Okay, and this is an interesting project. There are some beautiful documentation also available in internet. I will share some such website link which you can go through to understand this particular architecture in a better way. And this is a very important interview question with respect to SDE roles as well. In many good companies, this kind of architecture is implemented. So you should have an idea how this OTP verification system works in the backend. It is not like all the companies will use DynamoDB only, but because DynamoDB itself has a feature to automatically delete the expired items or expired OTPs, that's why if in any case you are using DynamoDB for this backend system, it will be good. Moreover, DynamoDB is serverless. You no need to worry about scaling and all. AWS will take care of that responsibility, right? So those are the beauties. So here see, if I am again requesting for validation with the OTP, here it is showing time over because 2 minutes is over since the OTP is generated, right? So I hope you understood this particular architecture. This is all for this video. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share and comment. Subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now. And don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos. Thank you for watching.